Today, we're going to talk about Bilt 3.0, the core features that we all want to see in the next iteration of this program. But first, let me make it clear, Bilt 2.0 is very good. The Bilt Palladium has already won the R-Squared 2026 Card of the Year. I want to say that up front because a lot of what's coming next is going to sound like criticism, but it isn't. The Palladium and Obsidian have a rent, mortgage, and general spend structure that earns in fantastic ways. Bilt built something that nobody else in the space had the foresight to build. Credit where it's due. But good isn't the finish line. I want to introduce you to what I think should be the future of credit cards. So think about the products that we actually get excited about. Your phone. Every September, there's a new one. It doesn't matter if it's a huge year or a boring year, it drops. Cars. Every fall, a new model year. New trim, new paint, bigger screen. And if you're into sport video games, every August, September, you can count on Madden, NBA 2K, and EA Sports FC, and people line up for them. Now notice what those are not. None of them are reinventions. Apple doesn't rebuild the iPhone. The yearly cadence is the product. That's what gets you excited. Now, name me one credit card that operates that way. Chase doesn't, Amex doesn't, Citi, Capital One, Wells Fargo, nope. And I'm not dunking on them here. They can't. These are enormous, heavily regulated banks. They have a lot of hoops to jump through to turn an idea into reality. So it's not incompetence on their part, that's just what it is. But Bilt is not a bank. Bilt is a rewards program. Cardless is the servicer. Neither of them have to move a battleship to try something new. They can ship, they can iterate, they can be wrong in March and fix it by June. Do you remember when Bilt pivoted 2 days into the Bilt 2.0 launch and issued an entirely new rent mortgage payment option? Folks, that's the new world we're living in. Look at Rove, a travel currency. No bank, no card as yet, and it works across 20 transfer partners already. That's who's actually innovating in this space right now. It's not the card issuers, it's the rewards programs. So today, I want to lay out 7 core improvements that can make Bilt the leading contender for best program in 2027, which I'm calling Bilt 3.0. Let's get into it. I'm Richard with R-Squared Travel Rewards. This channel is built on one thing: giving you the strategy to maximize every single point and mile that you earn without the noise. Join my YouTube membership. Club members get to message me separately at boomacompany.com regarding their unique situation. My opinions are not biased by card issuers or rewards programs because I don't issue referral or affiliate links. I rely on your memberships to keep this channel going. And before I get into the 7 core improvements, my position is that Bilt should never be a finished product. It needs to iterate and not just enhanced with a coupon book that nobody remembers to use. It needs to be refreshed every 12 months on purpose in a way that gives us a reason to talk about Bilt 3.0 the same way we talk about a new phone. I'm not just geeking out here. I'm trying to change things to bring value to us card holders. And you better believe that all the great suggestions that my members send me will get in front of the eyes of Bilt's leadership. Number 1, and this is the one that's gonna bite most people in about 5 months, so pay attention. Bilt Cash expires December 31st. Now you roll over $100, but everything beyond that is gone. It doesn't matter how or when you earned it, it evaporates on December 31st at 11:59 p.m. You could try your best to trade in the Bilt Cash for the monthly credits, on housing payments, point accelerators, level up to a higher status on Bilt Rende transfer bonuses, and so on and so on. But if you have excess Bilt Cash at the end of the year, all but $100 will cease to exist. Now, I'm a relatively heavy Bilt spender, so I can't use up all my Bilt Cash at the rate that I'm earning. And the double whammy is that I don't use Bilt Cash for housing either. So here's the ask, and it's simple. When December 31st rolls around, whatever Bilt Cash we have left, let it convert to points and let it be uncapped. Now we can argue about the rate, but let's start at the rate that we use to trade in for housing points. $30 in Bilt Cash for 1,000 Bilt points. That's 3 cents per point. It's not fantastic, but I'll take it. I don't care. So R Squared's take is that I'm not asking for a great rate. I'm asking for a rate, any rate. A bad conversion beats a forfeiture every single time, because a bad conversion is still points into my account, and a forfeiture is 0. Bilt has already built this mechanism. $30 for 1,000 points math already exists in the app. All they have to do is take off the cap for 1 day a year. That's not a product overhaul. Let's think of it as just a little switch. Now, if Bilt doesn't take this approach, they're going to run the risk of heavy spenders dialing back their spend towards the end of the year. Number 2, introducing elite point accelerators. Now, for anyone who doesn't have the Palladium or the Obsidian cards, a point accelerator is where you spend $200 of your Bilt cash and it buys you an extra point per dollar on your next $5,000 in spend. And you get 5 point accelerators per year. 5. And that's it. You're done until January. However, 5 should be the baseline. So here's the ask. Make additional point accelerators as milestone rewards. But these aren't regular accelerators. They're elite point accelerators because they live on for the next $10,000 in spend versus the regular $5,000. I'm talking 2 of them. Once you hit $40,000 of spend on your Bilt card, turn on the first elite point accelerator. Then hit $75,000 in spend and turn on the second one. Now, let's insert these new milestones into Bilt's current status tiers. Today, if you surpass $25,000 in spend, which gets you Bilt Gold status, but you can't quite make it to $50,000 in spend, where you earn Bilt Platinum status, you're in no man's land. I aim to fix that. And then it gets worse, because after $50,000 in spend, that's it. That's the end of the road. Why spend more? Personally, I always stop at $50,000 in Bilt spend and then go after new welcome offers. Currently, every 25,000 points you earn, Bilt hands you $50 in Bilt cash. That's the milestone track. I'm just asking them to upgrade it to something more meaningful. And now, let's go back to improvement number 1 for a second. What's that milestone currently paying you in? Bilt cash. And what did I say about Bilt cash? It expires. I also said that most heavy earners are already sitting on more of it than they can spend. So Bilt's current milestone reward is pouring more water into a bucket that has a hole in it. So R Squared's take is that Bilt's current milestone reward structure doesn't move the needle, but I suspect Bilt knows that. It further contributes to the Bilt cash accumulation problem. What I'm proposing gives an incentive to keep spending with a focus on earning points. So to be clear, the current point accelerator structure stays in place, and we're introducing 2 elite point accelerators with a 10,000 spend runway each. And if you want to increase the second elite point accelerator to a $15,000 runway to keep things interesting for us, feel free. Number 3, and this is one that makes me a little crazy. You can only be the primary card holder on 1 Bilt card. If you want the Obsidian and the Palladium, that's a hard no. You can be an authorized user on somebody else's card, and that's the workaround that we're using. But it's still a workaround and not the most elegant solution. Think about how strange that is. Even Chase, who used to limit Sapphire ownership, suspended that rule. Amex wants you to hold the green, the gold, and the platinum cards all at the same time. Citi allows you to hold the Citi Magnificent 5. Essentially, every issuer and servicer has figured this out, and they want to make it a tad harder for you to leave. Bilt. I know that after Wells, that it wasn't going to be easy to have other issuers lining up to take their place, but you gotta figure this one out. The Obsidian and Palladium are 2 different cards with very different use cases. They're literally made to sit next to each other as complementary products. You've made such a compelling argument that we want to own both cards outright, but we can't. I want a grocery card and an elite travel catch-all card that work together. I know this is a cardless thing and not a you thing, but the arguments that I've always made in support of you and cardless are that you're both fintech companies with the ability to move fast. So R Squared's take is that I've been arguing that Bilt and cardless can innovate because they're small. So consider this to be a test. This restriction is not a law or a regulation. This is likely just a platform issue, so please prove me right. Prove to me that you and Cardless can move fast by resolving this gap. Number 4, using mortgage to accelerate points and status with airline partners. Here's where Bilt has taken the industry lead by a mile. They have 3 airline partnerships that let you pay for housing with a non-Bilt card and earn that airline currency directly. Atmos, you earn 3x on rent. Flying Blue, you earn 3x on rent. And United, you earn 2x on rent. They're all capped at $50,000 in rent spend per year. And please note that they all carry a 3% transaction fee, so do the math. I recommend this play for folks who pay rent via a portal and who, like me, are also lounge lizards that redeem points for business class seats on international flights. But that play is all about rent. You haven't heard me mention mortgage payments. Bilt has already solved the hard part of earning points on your mortgage, but that's fully within the Bilt ecosystem. Now, the next logical step is to allow earning points on mortgage when paying with a non-Bilt card. Otherwise, homeowners are going to find yet another excuse to say that something is lacking within Bilt, which I always find extremely laughable. R-Squared's take is that what I like about this one is that it's not a platform change. It appears to be more about being able to amend the 3 existing contracts that they have with Atmos, Flying Blue, and United to include mortgage payments. And of course, adjusting their system to award the elevated multiplier on mortgage transactions. This addition would put Bilt in every single conversation regarding earning points on housing payments. Number 5, it's time to level up even further. Currently, there's no status above $50,000 in spend. You get to $50,000 in spend, which is Bilt Platinum status, and then it stops. You maintain your status. I don't know about you, but I never get excited about maintaining. So, I'm proposing one more rung on the ladder. A $100,000 spend status tier named Bilt Platinum Reserve. Now what's in it? Bilt Platinum today gets you a status match to Flying Blue Gold for 12 months. And Flying Blue Gold is SkyTheme Elite Plus. I absolutely love this benefit. I'm proposing that Platinum Reserve gets you a status match into Aeroplan 50K. Aeroplan 50K maps to Star Alliance Gold. That's the same tier of the Alliance as Flying Blue Gold is to SkyTeam. The equivalent rung, and it's a status that starts to matter to us lounge lizards. Those are the statuses that give us access to business class lounges internationally, even if we're flying economy class. Now, the Flying Blue Gold status match requires that we transfer 10,000 Bilt points to Flying Blue. This Aeroplan status match will require transferring 25,000 Bilt points to Aeroplan, which you get to keep. Maybe it's a tall order, but I don't think so. However, I know it's easier said than done. The goal here is to create a premium level tier, which is an attribute of most quality reward programs. R-Squared's take is that I would definitely love to see this new tier come to fruition, but I'm open to what Bilt is prepared to drop into this tier. Without this, there isn't a need to put more than $50,000 in spend on your Bilt card. A $100,000 spend tier on one credit card isn't something to sneeze at. So it's not like this tier would become mainstream. The real value is that Bilt will create the allure that there's more to reach for, and that Bilt status matters. Now number 6, it's the smallest improvement on the list, and it's the one that will annoy you the most when you see it. Let me walk you through what currently happens first, with real numbers. Let's say that I've got a point accelerator running. I have $550 of run weight left on it. Then I go to make a single purchase of $800. That transaction posts, and Bilt does exactly what its terms says to do. $550 of that transaction will earn 3 points per dollar, and the other $250 only earns 2x. Now, I wanted 3x on the full $800 because I've got the Bilt Cash sitting right there ready to turn on for my next point accelerator. I would have happily burned $200 of Bilt Cash to catch that $250 overflow. But I can't, because I can't turn on the next point accelerator until everything posts. And the $250 overage already earned 2x. I can't go back and buy the boost after the fact. This is also the case, by the way, if I make multiple transactions per day. Given how much I'm a freak about this stuff, I scrutinize how much is left on my accelerator, and I try to time my spend with just the right amount to reduce the amount of overage. I consider that to be a gap between where one accelerator ends and the next one begins. And every dollar that falls within that gap earns less than what I want it to earn. And it happens every single time between accelerators. It's not the end of the world, but I already told you I'm swimming in Bilt cash, so I want to automatically turn on my Bilt accelerators. So here's the ask. Give me a toggle where I can set to automatically turn on my accelerator if I have enough Bilt cash to do so. That's it. When one accelerator runs out, turn on the next one without any gaps. R-Squared's take is that this one costs Bilt nothing. I'm not asking for a better rate. I'm not asking for more accelerators than I'm entitled to. That's improvement number 2. I'm asking to be allowed to spend the Bilt cash that I already have on an accelerator that I already qualify for. Make it a toggle, make it an opt-in, and let us decide. Number 7, booking home away from home with Bilt points. And if you don't know what this is, I'm sure you're not alone. It's Bilt's luxury hotel platform that they launched last year. It runs on the Virtuoso network, and it's only available to Gold and Platinum members. When you book through it, you get breakfast for 2, $100 property credit, and room upgrades. I recently used it in Dubai at the Intercontinental Marina Bay. It's Bilt's answer to Amex's Fine Hotels and Resorts and the Edit from Chase. But the downside is that I can't pay for it with Bilt points. It needs to be a cash stay. Of course, you can use $100 Bilt Cash monthly hotel credit and stack the semi-annual $200 hotel credit from your Palladium card. But if the total bill is $600 for 2 nights, you have to come out of pocket with cash versus the option of using points to cover the balance. I get that it's a pay at the hotel kind of program where Bilt quickly reimburses you as the hotel charge posts. However, if Bilt wishes to play in the luxury hotel game, and I commend them for it, these properties can be pricey. So I want the option to use points to stay at them when appropriate. R-Squared's take is that my understanding is that Virtuoso is a consortium. It's advisor bookings, commissions, and cash rates negotiated property by property. That's genuinely harder to plug points into than, let's say, an Expedia feed. So I know this is not a 5-minute fix. Amex can do it because Amex owns its own travel agency. So Bilt, this would likely cost you real money, but I'm asking anyway, because your flagship travel product currently doesn't accept your own currency. It's already Gold and Platinum gated. So if you're going to consider Platinum Reserve, like I asked in improvement number 5, this is exactly the kind of benefit that elite members would want. So here are my 7 improvements for Bilt 3.0. Number 1, let Bilt Cash convert instead of evaporate. Number 2, introduce elite point accelerators at $40,000 and $75,000 in spend. Number 3, let me hold 2 Bilt cards and take my money. Number 4, get mortgages into your 3 airline partnerships. Number 5, build a tier above Platinum status that plugs into Star Alliance Gold. Number 6, close the seam between point accelerators. And number 7, let me spend Bilt points at Bilt's own best hotels. Here's an important thing that I want to leave you with. If Bilt were to ship all 7 of these improvements into Bilt 3.0, I'll still be creating a Bilt 4.0 because this is not a one-time effort. And it's not me being impossible to please. This needs to be the new model. Excite us and delight us each year. Furthermore, I recommend that refreshes be announced ahead of time, out loud, and pick a splash date. A card that stops changing is a card that starts losing public favor. R-Squared members, I'd like to know what you want to see in a Bilt 3.0 refresh. Feel free to disagree with me vehemently. I want a great list to send to Bilt. If you have any questions about your strategy, become a YouTube club member and hit me up in the chat section of boomacompany.com. I'm Richard with R-Squared Travel Rewards. As always, take care and be good to each other.